Hi, my name's Andy. I live here at Dorothy Day House in Brisbane, where we try to live out the values that we believe in as Christians and as members of the Catholic worker movement. Values like living simply and communally, like inviting friends and strangers in and welcome into our house, taking personal responsibility for a better world, and that means sometimes resisting injustice or violence where we see it, which is what led us to Pine Gap, the secretive US military base in the middle of Australia, where the USA spies on the world, where they take signals intelligence that becomes part of their drone bombing program, where they enhance their nuclear weapons program by detecting other countries' nuclear weapons and by spying on all of your computers. I live here with an ever-changing number of other people, some of whom, that's me, Tim, Franz, and Jim, who's in another Catholic worker community, as well as a couple of our friends, Paul and Margaret, have caught in November 16 to 23 for our part in trespassing on Pine Gap and playing a musical lament to mourn all the death and misery caused by that place. So, Jim, this isn't the first time you've trespassed on Pine Gap, is it?
No, it's not, no.
Can you tell us a bit about the other times?
I have been into Pine Gap in 2005. We went into the base and did an action where we actually climbed onto the roof of one of the buildings there and took some photographs of ourselves in one of the domes there. Campaigning against the terrorist base at Pine Gap for many years, involved in terrorist campaigns in the Middle East and elsewhere, and we wanted to do a citizens inspection. So when we were refused by the government that is protecting that terrorist base, we went in there in 2005 and did our own citizens inspection.
What for you is the importance of civil disobedience like this in trying to challenge the war machine?
Well, civil disobedience is an alternative to war making. We have one group of terrorists on one side, the US government and its Australian allies engaged in terrorist activities, and then we have people trying to stop that with further terrorist activities such as ISIS and Al Qaeda and other groups, and it's a never-ending spiral of violence. So we use non-violent resistance as an alternative to that spiral of violence.
Very nice, friends. Very nice. So, friends, your musical abilities, you don't just use them like some rock stars for the ego trip of getting on stage. You've used them for various protest movements and, in this case, a lament on Pine Gap. Can you tell us what inspired you to do that?
Yes, so music has always been a big part of my life for a long time, and I think that it's a very powerful tool in evoking human emotion. And in this case, I used it and we used it, a group of us, as a part of a lament on the base of Pine Gap to, I guess, just to pray and to lament for all the deaths that it had caused.
So Tim, I've got you here weeding around the ginger plants. You're the resident Dorothy Day House gardener and bike mechanic, but you're also somebody who several times has trespassed on military bases. Are these activities linked?
Yeah. So I consider gardening and fixing up old bikes to be a sustainable way to live, less consumerist. So yeah, in the way that gardening is and fixing bikes is sustainable, I believe that breaking onto military bases and raising awareness for the death and destruction that's been caused by these places, in that way it's also sustainable, and I believe if we're to continue living on the earth with each other, it's worth investing in sustainability.
Get a shot of the chickens here. They agree. So that's us. Four ordinary people trying to live out a life consistent with our values and currently facing up to 7 years in prison each for our lament at Pine Gap. When we go to court, we're hoping to put Pine Gap itself and the activities that go on there publicly on trial, and we would appreciate your support and your help in doing that and in trying to create a more just and more peaceful world.